Hey guys, this is Elia coming to you from the Wartune Alpha test server, and so we just got a new patch 5.6, out on the test server. So this is just about a month, I would say, at least like 3 to 4 weeks in advance of when the patch is actually going to be released. We know it's going to be sometime in mid-April, but I don't have an exact date for you yet. I'm going to try and do a video per each of the posts that Cosmos does on the blog, but some of the content is a little bit hard for me to do. I haven't gotten knighthood yet here because the XP is actually quite difficult to collect, and I haven't been able to get the new U-Demon. I traded like 5 times. I saved up a ton of these thinking that a new U-Demon would come out at some point, and so no luck there yet. But we can at least show the clothing changes. I've done a little bit of this just to test the waters. And the clothing change, the system is quite different. So there's a bit of an adjustment about how you level your clothing. I'm not really sure if it's like good or bad yet, but anyway, one of the simple changes, which I think is something they should have had a long time ago, is that you can individually hide the pieces of clothing. So I can just get rid of the wings if you don't want the wings, and I can hide the armor. Sorry, that's hiding the weapon. Hide the armor. Hide the hat. Or you can hide everything as before. So this would be equivalent to what the hide button did before. So anyway, we can leave the clothing on here. So that's that change. And then this is looking very different, and so you have a clothing level for everything. So instead of having like a level, 7 helm and a level 6 armor and a level 8 weapon or something like that, you only have one level for your clothing now, and you engulf clothing into it. Clothing pieces give a certain amount of XP, and you have a total level. So the levels look a little bit more like what we would see with wings, but here each level will adjust your stat or whatever it is bonus you get a little bit, and I mean a little. So it'll be either an adjustment to your physical and magical attack, to your physical defense, or your physical MDef. So basically the attack percentage, the defense percentage, the HP percentage, and then the base increase are all separate, as well as the base HP. And then it'll also cycle through increasing your initial rage by just one rage. So right now I'm quite disappointed because my initial rage went down very far. I had a level 5 helm, a level 5 armor, and a level 4 weapon, and I engulfed all of them in. And so from a level 5 helm and armor, each of those is 13 initial rage, which is individually higher than my initial rage is right now. And then the weapon would have been 11 initial rage. So it would have had 13, 13, 11, so that'd be 37. So I would have had 37 initial rage. Now I'm down to 12 initial rage after dumping all of my clothing into this. So we'll show the clothing engulf. So you can use a fashion core in order to get. So this is 4 fashion cores. It gives plus 800. So each fashion core is 200 XP, and then a level 1 piece of clothing is plus 300. So as far as buying into this, well, okay. So if you're thinking about buying from the shop, which I wouldn't do that. If you really want to buy something, well, for sure, fashion cores you should go through like Wild Shop or something because it'd be much cheaper. But fashion cores you can also get from Spire, particularly Spire Nightmare gives a lot of shards and stuff for that. If you're willing to do what are they called? Circuit quests, then that will actually give a nice chunk of clothing stuff. But here, so level 1 pieces of clothing are the same cost as a fashion core in shop. So if you're going to buy directly, if you're willing to buy directly, it's a better deal to go with a level 1 piece of clothing than to go with a fashion core. A pair of wings at level 1 is going to be plus 1600, and you don't have to worry about leveling. I mean, the higher level pieces of clothing that you have right now definitely give a ton more XP. I think I put a pair of level 3 wings in there. That was the first item I did, and I already shot up to like level 9. So for sure the the higher level pieces of clothing that you have will increase your level a lot. The thing that I'm a little bit worried about when we see this roll out to the main server is that there's probably going to be some sort of event for engulfing a certain number of either pieces of clothing, but more likely like engulfing a certain amount of XP here. And so, you know, do I immediately engulf the moment this patch comes out? Because I will have 0 initial rage or any bonus. My BR will go down because my clothing will be removed, and I'll have to engulf it before I get those stats back. So that's definitely something you have to weigh. I mean, I guess I have enough clothing on my main tune that it probably is okay, because I'll be able to engulf some and get some of my initial rage back, and then the rest I can try and wait for an event. But for sure, at least at first, your initial rage will go down, and that will be the most noticeable part. Like, yeah, you get a percentage bonus for these stats and stuff, and your BR will go down, but at least on a day-to-day basis in your multiplayer dungeons, in your PvP, the most noticeable difference is the fact that your initial rage will be much, much worse. So that will be an adjustment, especially for people who are used to being able to do whatever they want at the beginning of a fight. They can use their big attacks and that type of stuff. This will be a big adjustment. So I'll go ahead, I'll show the Engulf actually, just, so there I get 300 XP, that's enough to get me from level 16 to 17, and that will increase my base HP by 600. So do that, and it's always successful. I haven't seen any sort of failure in that. And so the next one is actually pretty important. It will give me a bonus initial rage of 13. So I mean, it's really, this is gonna go at a crawl for the initial rage. I'm sure that you know, the people who have high level clothing and everything, it should be decent. It will give a lot of XP, no doubt. But at least right now, it's sort of sad on the test server because my clothing was not that good. As far as fashion cores go, I'm not sure I would immediately dump these into the Engulf. Luck charms, I think you're good to go. You can probably just dump them into the Engulf. It will give a certain amount of XP. I don't think I can even buy a luck charm right now. I don't think they're in shop anymore. But fashion cores are, because we still need them for the not the identification, but the refinement. So it doesn't look like my appearance changed up here when I was engulfing those items, but when you do engulf, each time there's a chance that your clothing will change in appearance. It just didn't there. We can go in the wings. So here, identification should be... Oops. Okay, well that time, I don't know, did they change the identification that there's... Okay, so it doesn't look like I'm failing any of the identifications. And so one of the other changes... Oh. No kidding. Okay, so I just identified and got 2 stars. So now it's possible, if you identify, you can actually get multiple stars. I don't know if you can go as high as 3, 4, or 5 by identifying. I'm sure that's pretty rare. But at least here, I only used gold on this item, and I got 2 stars. And so one of the other changes is that when you refine these, the stars will only go up. So here, there's even a potential if I refine this with 3 fashion cores. Previously, there was a chance I would go back down to 1 star. And now there's only a chance to increase. So I can go ahead and do this. Well, sure, why not? So now I'm up to 5 stars. And I'm not gonna go crazy with my balance here. But yeah, so I guess I can, just because fashion cores are things that I can get free here, but I'll do a little bit just to show you guys. So far, so I went up 2. So really what I should do is like refine each of these once before. That's still a good call, but here we're only going to see these increase. I can get it all the way up to 5 stars, no problem. So previously, at some point, this would have gone back down to 1 star. And so it's sort of like how we refine gear now. The stats will only go up. I don't know if it's possible for it to stay the same, but by the looks of it, it's ever increasing the level of your refinement. So that's a very, very good change, because previously you spent all these cores on those refinements, and there's a chance that you could go through so many cores just to try and get a high level set of stars. I've seen a lot of cachers blow through a ton of those, so now that's a much more comfortable place to be. So personal recommendation is probably save your fashion cores in order to refine your clothing, and then use the clothing that you get from events and all of that stuff, so the actual pieces of clothing, in order to engulf. And also luck charms can go into the engulf. I think that's a safe bet, because there's no clothing synthesis anymore, so there's no point to the luck charms other than engulfing. So anyway, I think that's all I see for the clothing changes. Otherwise, so we have the hiding and the changed identification and refinement that only improves, and there's no chance based to that anymore, or the only chance is how much it improves, but it will always at least increase. And then the big change is the clothing engulfing, so that's very, very different. So anyway, let me know what you guys think of the new changes, and we have lots more content coming out on the blog, so definitely keep up with us at wartune.doligames.com for more new info on patch 5.6. Take care and have a very good day.